One of the darkest aspects of US history and culture is encapsulated in crime perpetrated by law enforcement officials. In fact, police abuse of power has long been a footnote in analysis of government's monopoly on legitimated violence. The history of modern policing itself indicates long-standing concern with excessive, sometimes brutal, control over citizens by law enforcement agents. Such concerns have been articulated variously over time by the public, academics, the press, and within law enforcement ranks. Much of this concern turns on perception, for police malfeasance is notoriously shrouded behind a blue wall. Well-meaning law enforcement officials are genuinely interested in public perceptions of their services, and news of police malpractice flares selectively and variously across time. One of the dark Tyree Nichols was pulled over in the evening hours of January 7, 2023. Haley and another officer initially pulled him over and pulled him from his car. A struggle ensued with pepper spray being used and a taser being fired at Nichols as he ran from officers. It is unclear if the taser made contact with him. Another set of officers eventually caught up to Nichols, who was running toward his mother's house. He was less than 100 yards away when he was tackled. When more officers got to the scene, officers held Nichols' arms and hit him with a barrage of kicks, punches, baton strikes, and pepper spray. The assault lasted minutes and was captured on body cameras and the Skycop camera. When Nichols went limp, he was handcuffed and leaned against an unmarked squad car. More than 20 minutes passed before he was put on a stretcher and taken to the hospital. All three former officers were convicted in federal court and faced time in federal prison. Sentencing for the federal case was postponed until the state could reach until the state case reached an end. Bean and Smith were acquitted of civil rights violations, but found guilty of witness tampering and faced up to 20 years in federal prison. Haley was guilty on all counts: using excessive force, being deliberately indifferent to Nichols' medical needs, witness tampering, and conspiracy to witness tamper. But that jury found that when Haley violated Nichols' civil rights, it resulted in injury, not death. Haley could serve a life sentence in federal prison. There is no parole in the federal system. Two other former officers, Hymett Martin III and Desmond Mills Jr., took a plea deal and pled guilty in a federal case to using excessive force and conspiracy to witness tamper. Mills' plea agreement extended to the state case, and he will serve both his federal and state sentences at the same time. Martin and Mills testified during the federal trial. Mills testified during the state trial. District Attorney Steve Mulroy, when asked what message this verdict gives to police in Memphis, said the guilty verdicts in federal court provided some consequences for their actions. He did, however, say that this verdict shows the need for reform. If we're going to have any silver lining from this dark cloud of both the event itself and, in my view, today's verdict, it has to be that we need to reaffirm our commitment to police reform and to doing what we need to do to make sure that tragedies like this don't happen again, he said. Police misconduct and unethical behavior encompass actions by law enforcement officers that violate established laws, departmental policies, or ethical standards. This can include a wide range of inappropriate or illegal actions taken in connection with their official duties, such as excessive force, false arrest, falsification of evidence, or discrimination. Such conduct undermines the integrity of law enforcement and can have far reaching repercussions for individual officers, affected individuals, law enforcement agencies, and society as a whole. Leaders play the most important role by setting the example of high moral conduct that they pass on to subordinate officers. In addition, leaders must ensure departmental policy is clear and firmly set in place. Training must be conducted consistently on policies and the enforcement of those policies. Department policy that includes the mission statement, core values, and rules of conduct guides officers to make the right decisions. Leaders must remember that even the best policy is meaningless unless officers are trained properly and are familiar with the information. Positive reinforcement of mission statements and core values emphasizes ethical leadership in both current and future leaders of the organization. Agencies should establish clear and codified department policies that include a mission statement, core values, and strong, concise rules of conduct for officers to follow. The mission statement and core values should be on the forefront of every document and reinforced regularly. The mission statement sets the tone and forms the moral fiber of the organization. A clear mission statement that includes an ethics declaration can keep officers pointed in the right direction to achieve goals in an ethical manner. Agencies should establish clear and codified department policies that include a mission statement, core values, and strong, concise rules of conduct for officers to follow. The mission statement and core values should be on the forefront of every document and reinforced regularly. The mission statement sets the tone and forms the moral fiber of the organization. A clear mission statement that includes an ethics declaration can keep officers pointed in the right direction to achieve goals in an ethical manner. Mission statements can include such wording as to consistently serve the citizens with the highest level of integrity and professionalism, or to reduce crime and improve the quality of life by working together with citizens while upholding high ethical standards.